Life is Strange is an episodic game that follows Max Caulfield, a high school photography student, and Chloe Price, her best friend, as they find and uncover mysteries in Arcadia Bay, where the game is set. Max, however, finds out about her time-traveling powers and her ability to alter the past in order for her future to look more favorable. With this, we can see how the butterfly effect and chaos theory comes into play. If you are unfamiliar with the concept, the butterfly effect is the idea that small and seemingly minute actions can cause a series of events which can lead into bigger consequences. The term was coined by Edward Lorenz and was derived from a metaphorical example that a butterfly flapping its wings may cause a typhoon on the other side of the world, which can be seen in Life is Strange with a storm about to destroy Arcadia Bay.
Holy shit!
The butterfly effect goes hand in hand with chaos theory, which states that there are systems that seem random at first glance but actually follows an underlying pattern. To put it simply, it's finding order in what looks like chaos. These concepts are used in storytelling, especially in the likes of video games that require you, as a player, to pick the decisions in order to have a more favorable outcome, such as Telltale's The Walking Dead or Detroit Become Human. Unlike these two games, however, Life is Strange incorporates a time-traveling element to it, and it's unlike any other game in the sense that if you'd want to see the result of a different choice, you could just go back in time and choose the latter, which, in my opinion, is what attracted me the most with this game. Max discovers her ability to travel back in time in the first out of the many major events she had to experience in a week. She discovers that Nathan Prescott, the typical rich, entitled bully, shoots her childhood best friend, Chloe Price, while having an argument in the bathroom. This prompts Max to hold up her hand and awake back in class, moments before the whole thing unfolded. This is the first major decision Max makes which greatly affects the trajectory of the game, seeing as if she hadn't stepped in and pressed the fire alarm, Chloe would have died and the story would have ended. This is also the first instance we see the butterfly effect take place. If Chloe would have died, then ultimately Max would never know about the dark room and the real identity of Mr. Jefferson. One of the rare occurrences in this game where Max's powers don't work and we as the players do not get second chances is the ending of episode 2 where Kate is about to jump. Before delving into the decisions, I would like to mention this user and their guide for compiling the correct prompts to save Kate from jumping. The link is in the description if you want to check out the prompts in detail. Although it does help to be on Kate's side throughout episode 1 and 2, Kate can survive the episode no matter what choices are made in both those episodes. What I like about the choices made in this scene is that each dialogue prompt corresponds to a major decision the player makes throughout episode 1 and 2 about Kate. For example, the first prompt depends on whether Max intervened when David was harassing Kate, in a way that if you did intervene, choosing both options is good.
You matter, and not just to me.
I do want to believe that.
Kate, your life is still yours, and we can get through this together. Let me help.
However, if you did not intervene and instead took a photo, the only option that could get Kate to not jump is Max telling her that she was scared. The second prompt depends on whether or not Max answers her phone call in the diner, which, by the way, 18% of players not answering Kate's call is an actual crime. The third prompt depends on Max's advice on whether or not to go to the police. The remaining 3 prompts left do not depend on anything. In the end, if Max manages to save Kate, there will be an additional scene in episode 4 where Max visits Kate in the hospital.
Kate, I thought I'd never see you again. I feel so ridiculous. I'm so sorry.
Kate, listen to me. You have nothing to be sorry about. Other people do.
Max receives messages of how thankful Kate and her family are. Victoria even writes her a note and dedicates Kate's bravery in her Everyday Heroes contest speech.
Victoria Chase might be queen bitch, but she's not evil.
Kate will also help Max find Nathan's room in order to find evidence in episode 4.
I just have to find Nathan's room number, get inside, and get the clues I need.
Max, please let me help. I can get the number and I'll text it to you, okay?
Of course, Kate. I can't do this without you.
Apart from this, Kate's dialogue during the nightmare scene of episode 5 will be slightly different depending on whether or not you saved her.
My family will never leave me alone, and that means I'll always be alone. Thanks to you.
Kate, that's not true. I've always been your friend.
If Max does not save Kate and she eventually jumps, a memorial for Kate will be shown in the ending scene of episode 2. Kate's dorm will also be sealed in crime scene tape with candles and crosses in front of it.
Bless your gentle soul.
Max would not receive any SMS and she would need to find Nathan's room by herself through reading the slates outside. In the nightmare scene of episode 5, Kate blames Max for her death and claims that she is stuck in hell forever.
Now I'm never going to heaven. Instead, you've stuck me in hell. Alone forever.
No! Kate, I was only trying to save you.
It's situations like this where the butterfly effect ultimately shows, and there are many more small consequences that occur depending on whether or not Max was successfully able to save Kate or not. This video will last for hours if I were to sit here and discuss all the major decisions and consequences. The game is riddled with important choices, obviously, and we as players get to see the consequences of our action throughout all the episodes we play, with the ability to rewind back a short moment if we regret our decision. We can also see the chaos theory take into effect when we play as Max Caulfield and how what she says to other people affect how she gets treated. When we first meet her, she's portrayed as this shy, reserved, kind, and almost loser type of high school student. However, we as players get to decide if we want to keep her that way or not. The first major decision Max has to make about her character is whether she makes fun of Victoria or comforts her after the paint spills on her. If she decides to make fun of Victoria, then on her social media page, Victoria will leave the photo she took of Max. Aside from this, it will be impossible for Victoria to believe Max's warning about the dark room, and therefore Victoria does not end up in the dark room since she will not approach Mr. Jefferson for help. Comforting Victoria allows her to not be aggressive during her desk confrontation with Max, and Max will not have any picture uploaded to her page.
It was. But there'll be another.
Well, you always seem to know how to pick the right outfits.
I do have some talent. Mr. Jefferson told me.
I've seen your pictures. You have a great eye. Richard Avedon-esque.
He's one of my heroes. Thanks, Max.
However, choosing this decision will ultimately kill Victoria, as she will believe about the dark room and will get killed approaching Mr. Jefferson so long as Max doesn't admit to setting up the paint can in episode 1. So I guess there's no win-win situation here.
What's happening?
You've been drugged like Kate. And me. Do you remember how you got here?
No, I don't know. Wait, you warned me. You warned me about Nathan. Then I went to Jefferson for help and he was acting so weird. That's the last thing I remember. And I can't move my hands. Help me, Max. Please, I'm sorry for everything.
Listen carefully. Mark Jefferson kidnapped us. He's using Nathan as well. Jefferson is very dangerous, so we have to get out of here before he comes back.
Max, I just can't believe this is real. I don't want to die like this. I'm only 18.
Another major decision early in the game is whether or not Max decides to take the blame Chloe, or stay hidden when David Madsen confronts Chloe about the weed. If Max takes the blame, then although Chloe feels thankful for you, it paints a picture in David's mind that Max is a pothead, and even Joyce in episode 2 will bring up that Max is not a good influence on Chloe. Blaming Chloe, however, will have Chloe be very upset at Max and will immediately leave the room and not show Max the gun.
Whatever. Everybody bails on me. Even my best friend Max, don't you? So done with everybody in this town. I wish I hadn't even seen you. As if you care. Color me out of here.
Joyce in episode 2 will also bring up the matter and would say that Chloe needs the influence of Max.
You'd been here to help save Chloe. She got busted yesterday smoking out. Again.
I know. Chloe told me that her stepfather hit her.
I am sorry that was your introduction to David. I hope you get to know him on your terms, not Chloe's. He's a good man. He just...
Yeah, I'm sure he is since you married him, but don't be so harsh on Chloe.
It's good you're here. I was hoping you could be a good influence in her life now.
I will be. Promise.
Chloe's there in episode 3 of Kissing Her would also change their dynamic, tending more to love than friendship. If Max does decide to kiss Chloe, then in episode 4, Max would want to kiss Chloe again after returning from the alternate timeline based on her journal entry. In episode 5, Max also writes a diary entry questioning her feelings for Chloe and leaning towards being more than friends. Also, in episode 4, Chloe would mention the kiss after Max hugs her after returning.
Whoa, down, Max. You get one kiss, now you're all over me?
Choosing not to kiss Chloe, however, would make Chloe disappointed, and Chloe would say something different after Max hugs her after returning in episode 4.
Now I can text Warren that you're saving yourself all for him.
I am so going to best unfriend you for that.
There are other minor decisions where the player can shape what Max is like, such as helping Warren with his science experiment in episode 2 or signing Michelle Grant's petition in episode 1. All these have their own consequences as stated by chaos theory, and each decision Max makes will be perceived differently by others. Fate typically refers to a predetermined course of events that are beyond our control, and often associated with concepts like destiny or predestination. On the other hand, free will suggests that individuals have the ability to make choices and decisions that can shape their lives independently of any predetermined outcomes. In the game, we can see the distinction between fate and free will. Max's rewind ability suggests a predetermined fate of having one. Similarly, the tornado, even if it was caused by the chaos theory through Max's powers, is one of the inevitable fates in Arcadia Bay. The choices the player makes throughout the game is an example of free will, and through these choices, the player shapes the direction of the story, highlighting the powers of free will Max has while having the powers. Beyond player choices, characters in the game also demonstrate agency and the ability to make decisions. Max, Chloe, and other characters grapple with ethical dilemmas, personal struggles, and moral choices throughout the narrative. Their actions and decisions responding to Max's choices reflect their individual agency, which showcases human nature and the capacity for free will to influence their desires. Throughout the game, these characters engage in philosophical discussions about destiny, fate, and personal agency. The main example of this is Chloe and how she seemingly believed at the end of episode 5 that she was destined to die. That was her fate for her to die in the washroom, seeing as she died multiple times throughout the game, only for Max to rewind time and stop it from happening.
Not trading me. Maybe you've just been delaying my real destiny. Look at how many times I've almost died or actually died around you. Look at what's happened in Arcadia Bay ever since you first saved me. I know I've been selfish, but for once, I think I should accept my fate. Our fate, Chloe. Max, you finally came back to me this week, and you did nothing but show me your love and friendship. You made me smile and laugh like I haven't done in years. Wherever I end up after this, in whatever reality, all those moments between us were real. And they'll always be ours. No matter what you choose, I know you'll make the right decision.
Chloe, I can't make this choice.
No, Max. You're the only one who can.
At the end of episode 3, when Max goes back in time to prevent Chloe's dad, William, from using the car to fetch Joyce, it is seen that instead of William dying, Chloe is the one who got into a car accident and therefore leaving her paralyzed for the rest of her life. You are even given a big decision in episode 4 on whether or not to accept Chloe's last wish, which is proof that even in an alternative timeline, Chloe was still meant to die and not live normally.
Chloe, I'll just drift asleep, dreaming of us here together. Forever. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you for following your dreams. Don't forget about me.
Never.
I love you, Max. See you around.
Sooner than you think.
Despite the presence of fate, Max's time-traveling abilities offer her a degree of control, but she must still contend with the limitations of her power and the consequences of her actions, which was seen when Kate was about to jump. Similarly, other characters confront challenges and make choices within the framework of their own lives, suggesting an interplay between fate and free will. Life is Strange's use of chaos theory has a profound impact on the player's emotional journey by introducing unpredictability, complexibility, and moral ambiguity into the narrative. It hits especially hard knowing that when playing as Max, players can really feel the uncertainty of each major decision and how their choices will have consequences as the game goes by. The unpredictability factor creates an emotional investment as players confront the moral implications of their actions and anticipate the outcomes they make. The use of chaos theory encourages players to reflect on the consequences of their decisions and consider the broader implications of their actions. We as players go through the game as Max, an 18-year-old high schooler, and her journey of personal growth and self-realization. These reflective moments contribute to the player's emotional journey, fostering empathy, self-awareness, and emotional investment in the narrative.